The first few years in Carrie's life were pretty typical. She was a bright-eyed, beautiful baby who met all her developmental milestones. But somewhere after her first birthday, there were subtle, gradual changes that were hard to ignore. She lost the words that she had. She stopped responding to her name. Instead of playing with toys, she would fixate on kitchen utensils, and then she would repetitively tap on objects. Probably most noticeable of all was that her eyes seemed to take on a dreamy look, and she just seemed to be fading away from us. After a long wait for an evaluation, we received the news that we were dreading. She did indeed have autism, and we were devastated. There was so much emotion involved in those early days of her diagnosis. So we were very confused and shocked and worried. We were worried about her in the present, and we were very worried about her future with all of the unknowns. There were so many questions that came with her diagnosis. I wondered if there was anything that I might have done or not done to have caused it. I wondered if she would ever talk. I wondered if she would ever have a job and live independently. I wondered if there was a cure for autism. I wondered what the effect would be not only on her, but on the rest of our family as well. Autism is life-changing in so many ways. We knew that she had impairment in her social and communication skills, but I often say that that isn't the hard part of autism. The more challenging part are the co-occurring things that seem to go along for many kids with autism. In our case, extreme sleep disturbance left us all exhausted, and chronic GI troubles made toilet training almost impossible. In addition, she had extreme mood fluctuations that would leave her upset, feeling miserable in her own skin, and tantruming for hours on end. She also had many sensory challenges, and so clothing and lights and sounds were overwhelming for her. She's a very picky eater, and she also had something called pica, where she would eat inedible items, which became a very big safety concern for her. So there were many challenges that are hard to capture and aren't fully captured by the diagnosis of autism.
Carrie, foot. Carrie knees down.
Autism is hard, and parenting a child with autism is humbling. It seems sometimes that the more I tried, the more frustrated she and I got. It became clear to me that this was something that I couldn't do on my own. So I began to reach out to other parents and to professionals to help me with the things that continued to be a challenge for us. I also began to realize that autism wasn't going away. And I started to reframe what normal means. I started to think, instead of what she wasn't able to do, and to look at what she could do. And probably more importantly, who she is. The free-spirited girl who marches to the beat of her own drum and who grows and learns to the tick of her own clock. So she and I both took a breather and stepped back. And in doing so, I realized that this surrender to autism allowed her to grow and learn on her own terms. And for me, my focus then became on helping her to be happy and healthy and as independent as she possibly can be. Seeing Carrie and autism through this different lens has had some surprising payoffs. In the last couple of years, Carrie and we have had some major changes in our life. For one, she moved out of our family home and is now living nearby, where she is independent yet fully supported 24/7. She also continues in her vocational educational program, where she is learning life skills, and she has 2 jobs there. She's also out in the community, which is a very big step for her. She has learned more in these past 2 years than I think I've known her to learn in all the years prior to that. She's doing things now that no one ever predicted that she would do. All in all, when I think about the goals that I've had for her, she's well on her way. So much has changed since the early days of her diagnosis. I know, for one, that I didn't do anything to cause autism. I know that there is no cure for autism, and yet that doesn't mean that we can't continue to help her to learn and to grow. And I know that she's going to be okay. Many of those early behaviors that Carrie had, the things that we were so insistent on changing, we've come to realize are part of who she is. And we're no longer concerned about trying to restrict that or change that. Surrendering to autism does not mean giving up, and certainly not giving up hope. For me, what it meant was surrendering to the fact that it was something that I couldn't control and being more open to possibilities instead of expectations. And that allowed for both of us to have an easier path. Even today, I still count on the people who are there and have been in our lives for many years for support and for guidance, because new things come up. And while I feel much more confident and competent to handle things, I know that it'll be easier for me and for Carrie, and the outcome tends to be better when I include others in trying to help her to be the best that she can be. I'm not the same mom that I was 20 years ago when I was nervous and unsure of myself. And because of her, I'm a better mom, I'm a better clinician, I'm a better human being.